we've scanned this scene in one go using an XGRIDS portal cam. This is the top view. Obviously we don't have any views from above because we did not use a drone for this capture. So there's collision in here, there's loading going on, and this is our implementation of the XGRIDS web SDK. It's an internal and external scan in one go. Let's just increase the maximum. It's already increased here, so it's a matter of waiting till the highest quality level is loaded in. So it's actually quite a large scan. Let me just enable point mode by clicking one of the bracket keys. Lots of trees and 2 locations, interiors and the route in those locations. So what we actually did is we converted this LCC data, which can be uploaded in its native format on our platform, into RAD, a radiance field file created by Spark. These .rad files are special in a way. You can convert a high-res 3D Gaussian splatting scan into this radiance field file format and get the down-converted level of detailed files automatically without the need to train lower tiered 3D Gaussian splatting files to create these loading 3D scenes. Let me just go and create a new scene using this RAD file to main splat of this scene that I already created. Get this splat URL and create a new scene. Yeah, don't put the URL to the splat file in title field, put it in the URL field. That's a good. So let's call this training at night. So here we are. The scene is loaded. It loads pretty fast, but it's loading sideways. So let's fix that by rotating it in the main splat settings. I believe this could be 90 degrees negative on the x-axis at this day. Okay, second thing we could do is add a sky and an atmosphere. As you can see, I enabled the atmosphere and it did something to the overall color of the 3D Gaussian splatting. That is because it is relighting the splatting in a sort of ambient way. We could do that by using the atmosphere here. You can see I can change the lighting. Splat will more or less update along with really dark as well. But I could also, when I'm not using an atmosphere because I'm a sky dome, then I could, the ambient slider here, change the splat color. Where I could boost it up, could even colorize it a hue. So let's just use the atmosphere for now. That's not clear. Let's take stars dark. The background, use ambient bluish night look. Yeah, so this looks really nice. It's really a starry, nice night. The clouds have some, well, I sometimes call it snot, but it's some artifacts from overcast sky or a washed out sky. Here you can see we have moon also rising, but it's sadly not showing through these. You could obviously filter those out using, for instance, super splat, flood fill, or color select in a certain region. These white Gaussians, I haven't had that process on this. So it's nice and dark now. Let's add a light and try that. So we have 3 types of lights. This is like a directional light. Just pop a lit scene. It's down-tuned intensity of white is called to show you. It doesn't have really any other effect than the lights by entire 3D Gaussian splatting, because the position doesn't matter, and concerning lighting, the Gaussian splatting rotation also doesn't matter. A directional light would only light from a certain direction, not from a certain position, but since these 3D Gaussian splattings do not offer shadow relighting, yet this not a tiny bit. What is nicer is to use, for instance, the spotlight, which allows you to really look around and cast the spotlight. Hardness of the penumbra is the angle and the intensity distance. So if I'll change that, searchlight. What I wanted to show is just this. We have these street lanterns and I want to add a new light to relight this scene, night feel. So I'll just drag and drop this bulb light from the asset browser right on top of this light. You can see, let me just press F to focus on it, place it, it hitboxed, or it raycast on the first thing it saw, and that was the front of that light, so I place it in the center. I think it's a bit bright now. Let's just change the brightness or the intensity to 1. Let's change distance to 6. I kind of like the decay. We can try it. Decay, this really hard. Okay, once we're satisfied with this light, we can let's first associate a camera position with it. Close now, and I can save this as a template. So once I do that, I get this template. You see that the thumbnail is might be a bit, but that's something. More or less, we now have a template sitting here in our library, seeing all templates that I created. Could also show it's less cluttered, but it doesn't really matter. So I'll take just the templates from this project. So now I'll just go along and find street lanterns and drag and drop my template on to add these new lights. So these far away lights I'm not going to really adjust precise manner and just drag and dropping really fast. This is too far away. If raycast behind the light happens again, you just boom. Now I see it's a bit offset the light. You can see this light is, you can even call it a light, a street lamp. So I'll just go ahead and drag and drop these lights onto the street lanterns, and you could do this during the day. So I could just reset the environment to a lighter sun atmosphere. But I kind of like this way because I directly see the effect with the lighting. On here, more lights. Nice how the light sort of bounces off the trees sometimes. Obviously there's no shadow casting, so it will also light the backside of the tree. Oh well, the light here. I could of course make different styles of lights because these are different other sorts of lanterns. These might have a more bluish light. For now, the light, let's little lights. So I see we have some lights as well. Let's try those two. Now I think these are way too bright. Let's just done that. Okay, DK maybe. The distance, power. So we could save this as a template as well. The template, I'm not sure why. Let me just create a marker. Screenshot here, focus on it. Seems like the light. Oh, anyways, we just know this is the correct light. So we'll go ahead and just drag and drop this on the next here as well. And let's S1. So I notice here's a light. Add that smaller light to this here. Now I see there's an alarm light as well. So that's same here as well. Change the light color. So distance 5.2. That was quite nice. Maybe 1. And distance maybe. And what we could do now is also give it a animation. So let's just give it an opacity range, go from 0.5 to 1 second, and do that in yo-yo fashion. Let's preview that. So that's not really noticeable. 0.5 second, 1, okay. And that's also on unfocus to be exactly the same, 0.5. So what this actually does is when you focus on the marker by selecting, we'll start playing back this animation. Deselect it, we'll start with the same animation, telling it play back that animation, whether it's focused on. If there are some more lights on this building, not sure, believe so here. This light be off, there's sort of an emergency situation going on, kind of like that. Just pop in a light, looks nicer. The light positioned correctly because there's some floating Gaussians there. Just undo that in here, like this. Tweak it a bit, what works best. Have a more diffuse effect. Yeah, good work, just looks nice. So let's go ahead and add some more lights because I know this scene is bigger, needs more lights. Here, street lanterns, lantern, the other location that it's all streaming in. I'm walking here, I see a lantern here, grab it. Here, there's lots of lanterns here. So that's nice that we created this template, configure this light source for each and every time that we need it. We could also create first person viewpoint markers in that manner, give them animation and just drag and drop them all over your scene so that your users can so this is a bit too big, let's the other light, so that your users can easily navigate around by just tapping these viewpoints. This is also one of those red lights. Let's put a tiny light here, clone that, 1.5, yeah, okay, set this. Maybe doing it totally different than the other light, but it doesn't matter. Okay, and the animation, 0.5. Yeah, in a yo-yo style. Let's add some more lights. It's a light, more lights. Add some lighten up the scene. And then I meant that in a positive way because we will also lighten up the scene in perhaps a less positive on that later. Whereas just do as well, lights depth as well. And this will be more or less what I had in mind of lighting. So let's go in now and maybe start adding some emergency lights. So this is the second location where we will simulate a fire. And I see a emergency exit sign here. So let's just light that up. This is of course the wrong color. Quickly change that in green like this to large. Kind of like it to 0.5. Just focus on it, zoom in, be placed better. So now this really gives the idea that it's it's lit, in my opinion. So let's just call this emergency light and save it a template. Now we can go to this other emergency light and do that same thing, the trick that we did earlier. Just drag and drop it. We have lit sign into this room as well. Just drag and drop it. You have lit sign. Let's go. I believe there's another one here. Yeah, all the way at the end here. This is a doorway, a block, a fire. This is actually an exit that you cannot use in this presentation. Here's a bathroom. No, we need to here. Final emergency exit this location. Okay,